Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pig City Podcast. Today we are talking about the Week 1 matchups. Football is back, it is here, and we got a lot to get into. Alexander, my co-host over beside me, how you feeling today? Tonight?
Feeling pretty good. A little
Oh.
devastated that Jets didn't get the win. They did cover.
Hey,
But really was rooting for them to get that dub.
You gave people a lot of good picks. And some of you noticed, yes, sorry, we don't have the intro ready yet. That's something we're working on, so if you know somebody, let us know, make a little intro for us. But no intro music, no little clip. We're just going to hop right into it right now. All right, so thank you and welcome back for those of you tuning in on a podcast or on the YouTubes. We appreciate it. Social's been kind of going a little bit crazy, but YouTube, we got to get the numbies up, people. So like, please, comment. But Alexander, this week started with the game we were most excited about, and that was the Super Bowl champions unveiling their banner against the division rival. And the spit heard around the world. It starts with instant chaos. We're freaking out. You're screaming about being a flag. I'm so angry because our fullback that was promising with a new look to our offense is out for the year on the first play. It looked awful. It was absolute chaos, a back and forth game. We'll get into a little bit of the gameplay in a second, but most importantly, the Birds got the win, and you were at my house, and we had to make a decision during the delay. Hey, like, what are you going to do? And you toughed it out. So I just want to say shouts out to you staying throughout the entire delay. I think maybe all of 3 words were spoken, besides calling Jalen Carter some names. But other than that, like, we were just kind of sitting there, because at that point, we didn't know it was even instigated. But before we get into any of the Spitgate, Alexander, do you have any major takeaways from this game, as we've had a little bit of time to sit here and think about it?
Major takeaways were it definitely felt like Dallas just did what they wanted on offense, but then they only scored 20 points. So, like, I don't know. It was just a weird game. And then the fact that we won without even really getting the passing game going, which is insane. And then you can't even say we really had the run game going. It was just Jalen Hurts, just doing Jalen Hurts things. Like, It was just in a weird game, and the fact we walked away with the dub, that's obviously a great thing, but it felt like a game we had no business winning if you were looking at it at times from the outside, just stats wise and stuff, following certain players.
And for those of you that want us to talk more Birds, that's another day, another time. But I think one key play you mentioned, it felt like they were kind of doing what they wanted. Right before the huge weather delay, the Cowboys are about to score, and Young comes up with a huge play on former Eagle Miles Sanders, causes a fumble. Dak Prescott with a game-saving tackle potentially. I thought Q was about to house it, and then the very next play after the turnover is a delay. And I think if that doesn't happen, or if they still had the ball, things could have been differently. But certainly after the delay, maybe it was just the legs didn't get going, or CD's hands didn't warm up, whatever it was. Truthfully, Eagles got kind of lucky with some of the things that bounced their way. But the delay definitely changed how the offenses are moving, because there were no punts before and there was no points after. So it was a very stressful game, but 1-0 in the division. I loved how Jalen Hurts had command of the offense. Yes, of course, passing has to be, I wouldn't even say yes better, but before the delay, we scored on every drive. The only drive we didn't score a touchdown, we kicked a field goal. Shouts out Jake DeMake, he's back. Lots of positives. Obviously, the glaring one that you got poked out a little bit is the cornerback too. We trust Vic, but that was bad. I guess the only thing I really wanted to ask you, and then you can say whatever you want obviously on this, do you think the Cowboys are going to kind of be like this year, like a little feisty and kind of ferocious, or was it just opening night divisional game, they're really not going to compete that much?
I mean, I haven't finished but I haven't finished second in the division for a reason. They're going to be feisty. They're going to be feisty enough to somehow squeak out second in the division, but it ain't going to be good enough for the playoffs. They're just going to be that feisty. They're going to have that little fight in them.
Okay.
I mean, normally before the year, they're used to everybody talking like they're going to win the Super Bowl. This is the first year that, in a while, where people are actually being honest, this ain't a good team. And then they got rid of Parsons, and it felt like everybody just really hated on him.
Yeah, and I guess we do have to make our public announcement on Jalen Carter. Here's my very, very quick thoughts. For the first 2.5 quarters, I couldn't make sense of what would possess a human to do something like that for what seemed to be no reason. And now I sit here and say, it's crazy that that's how you responded to that. But this is not justifying what he did. It just makes it more like, hey, you got to realize now you have more of a target. People know that they can get you to react a certain way. Now it's even harder for him in the future, I think, which is good for him. He's got to have somebody in that locker room to honestly kind of get on to him, because I think he came into this year, the way I was thinking about him, going to be one of the most dominant players on defense in the entire league, knowing that, needing to step up and be a leader due to a lot of the departures, and you're not even there for your team game one. You just have to be smarter. Again, I don't think he should have done it anyway. I'm not saying that. But the point is, you obviously were trying to be provoked. Anyone saying like Dak didn't, stop. Like, he wanted to provoke him, and he did. And Carter fell for it. That's on Carter, though. That's what I'm saying. He's got to be better. This team, pass rush makes secondary play better. Like, that's the most obvious thing possible. So, I don't like that little grimace you did. Again, full transparency, we are recording this during Sunday Night Football. I'm a little nervous. Oh, okay. Nothing too bad. Yeah, currently the Bills are losing, but we'll update you on that when we get there. So, do you have any talks or thoughts on Spitgate? I know we spent a little more time on Thursday Night Football than we planned, but...
My quick thoughts is don't like the fact that, like, Dax afterwards saying, like, he didn't. Like, he literally stared at him, spit at the ground in front of him, did a little head nod at him. Like, you definitely were instigating him. Just own up to it. Like, but my biggest takeaway is if we're going to call standing up over top of somebody, flexing, taunting, how is spitting at someone's foot before the game, doing a head nod, not taunting as well? But at the same time, what Carter did, it's unacceptable. You should never spit on anybody. Granted, even if he would have just been trying to spit at the ground at his feet in response, you still don't do that. It's still unacceptable. Just you could go up and be like, hey man, like, really? That's how it's gonna be? Okay, I got you. That's all you need to do. Like, none of that extra stuff was necessary.
No, and like...
It was childish, honestly.
Yeah, it's not setting a tone, especially when you already have people thinking a certain way about you. So I love Jalen, and I hope he's not suspended, and we'll find out soon. But I hope he's there the rest of the year and dominates and uses that as a real growing moment of like, hey, like, ultimately it should be a self-reflection of like, not only did I respond that way, he knew I was going to. Like, that's bad. Like, somebody know. I mean, that, So he's got to get better, and honestly, it doesn't make me feel any more different about Dak than I already did, so... whatever. But, all right, Alexander. Speaking of taunting or things not getting you in trouble, I saw a guy open hand smack maybe the biggest superstar in the NFL right now, Travis Kelce, right in the face, not getting any trouble, and then post a caption afterwards that he's feeling too swift even in Brazil. That was Tart on the defense for the Chargers, as the Chargers shock a lot of people. I'll give you credit. Okay, you made a great play with Josh Allen there, y'all. That was huge. Thank you for not spoiling that for me, Alexander. But Tart hits Kelce right in the face. Nothing happens. And I'm not even joking when I say this. That kind of felt like how this game was. Just the Chargers, literally and figuratively, smacked him right in the mouth, and they just kind of were there. You have Travis Kelce taking out Xavier Worthy. Sorry about telling y'all to take him anytime touchdown. I didn't know his guy was going to take him out. It just... those two plays are symbolic for me. The Chiefs take out their number one receiving threat for the game themselves. They get smacked in the face. Nothing happens. And then they got posted about it afterwards. Calm me down. Might be the start of the new era in the AFC West. The Chiefs are still great. They still have Mahomes. He made some incredible plays. There's a play he's falling, throws it, gets it there. They were competitive in this. But the Chargers did exactly what everybody believes the Chargers to do. They did it against the Chiefs on the biggest stage in Brazil on opening night. I was very, very impressed with the way the Chargers played. They aired it out way more than I or anyone thought they were going to with Herbert. Games like that where he plays almost flawless football are why people have him in the top 5 discussion despite never making the AFC Championship yet. I enjoyed that game thoroughly. That's not even like as a Chiefs hater thing. I actually don't really care one way or another about the Chiefs. They've been the best team for the past several years. I was very, very impressed with the Chargers. I'm not out on the Chiefs by any regard, but I'm very excited to see what the Chargers do offensively as they move forward. So, I guess we should say the final score of that game ended up being 27-21. We apologize.
Yeah, and then the ones that rode with me, I mean, hey, with that game, I got you the pick win against the spread, and I got you an anytime touchdown if you rode with me. Keenan Allen, baby. Let's go.
You did. I texted you because we didn't watch that one together. I texted you when they were right near the red zone. I said, Allen time? You said, yeah, probably so. Next play, touchdown. I was happy for you. I was happy for everybody that rode with you. Full transparency, I did not ride with him on that bet. Usually we try to ride together if we're not opposing. I didn't give out the anytime touchdowns except for Xavier Worthy last week. So, I mean, that's a bad break. He might be actually hurt. I do have concerns for the Chiefs moving forward with their receiving core for the next 5 games without Rice. If Worthy's not there also, I don't think you can depend on Hollywood Brown. He just can't do it. Any final thoughts there with the any concerns for the Chiefs or positives for the Chiefs or Chargers?
I think the Chiefs, they just need to survive. Like, get through the Rice suspension, and then I think their offense will be back fully open. But for this next 5 games coming up, it's just survival.
Yeah, one final touch. I actually thought the Chiefs were going to win when they got that field goal off before halftime because that was a classic. Maureen Hampton doesn't get out of bounds, and so they have a chance. And they end up being able to do a fire drill, kick the field goal. Butker drills it. And I'm like, this is the Chiefs. I texted everybody in our groups and said, they capitalize when teams mess up. And this is the most Chargers thing to just give them 3 points. But that's what I'm saying might be different. And the Chargers coming to halftime are like, no, it's still our game. We don't care. Very, as impressed as I could be week 1 with the Chargers. I'll put it that way. All right, Alexander. Moving on to Sunday, where you and I watched all of these 1 o'clock games together. Sorry to Lee again for not coming over. Please come next time. We have an NFC East matchup again, and that is the New York Giants facing Washington Commanders. The Commanders win and cover 21-6. I'll be honest, this was one of the uglier games. This is probably the best pick I had for our preview because I said this is a game that I have no excitement watching, and it was awful. I'll be really fast on my breakdown of this. Jaden Daniels did enough to win. Sorry if you hear the pages. I'm looking through my notes here. Did enough to win. Washington offense was just not clean whatsoever. Defense obviously was good, but the Giants can't even score a touchdown on their debut. Russ is worse than I thought he would be. It's not a matter of it's not a matter of when, but if, the other way around. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when Jackson Dart will be playing. He'll be in the next 3 games probably. That was awful from the Giants. I have nothing really positive from that. The Giants defense was tough, but Washington kind of seemed that way. Bill Krosky had a few big plays. It was as clear of an outcome as I could have seen. Giants being terrible, Washington being a little better. Sorry, I know I rambled there.
Yeah, my takeaway of that was Washington didn't look that great, but the Giants just looked like on offense, they just couldn't do anything. Like Russ looked like he was just throwing the ball up, praying every single play. Like it was awful. Like
Dude, the one moon ball was 12 yards to the right.
Yeah, it was bad. It was a bad game all around, I feel like. Wasn't a fun one to watch. If you had multiple TVs on, it was probably on a side screen and you probably forgot about it.
Unfortunately, I didn't forget about it because, one of my correct picks of the week decided to have a weather delay and that one kept popping up. But if you're a Malik Neighbors person, he seemed healthy as he could, making plays left and right. So I guess that's a positive for Giants fans. The Giants having a star receiver always leads to great success, right? Where's Odell at, by the way? Sorry. All right, Alexander, you want to hop into the next one? I feel like I kind of hogged that one a little.
The next one is actually one I picked.
Yeah.
And boy, did I steer y'all down the wrong path with that one. It's Cincinnati against Cleveland. Cincinnati was favored by 5.5 on the road, and it was a doozy. 17-16 was the final. Bengals did manage to get a week 1 win this year, but it was about as ugly as it could get. Good news is Bengals defense looked kind of competent, but they were also playing the Browns. So what do you take out of it? To me, the big takeaway was either the Browns have a really good defense or the Bengals just look like they were not awake, that they thought it was still preseason out here, like couldn't get anything going on offense. It was not a good game. Not a good game at all. But they won a tight one, hard-fought one, I guess. But, yeah, not good. Not good.
Yeah, and if y'all don't know, this is Alexander and I through the games. We're writing notes and going through. So we obviously won't say everything we wrote. But all I have on this, Bengals week 1, early season, the real struggle is really real. Like, that's not the same offense we will see 3-4 weeks from now. I don't know how to explain it. It makes no sense. Like, Jamar Chase, fantasy owners, I promise you he'll still be probably the number 1 receiver in fantasy, but it's not going to be the case. We have an absolute showdown going on right here. The Bills just scored a touchdown, going for 2 here.
Didn't get the 2.
Okay, thanks for ruining that for me. This is why you don't watch with people.
I thought you already saw it. My bad.
That kind of made me mad.
It's on me.
Even if I did, that was a bad interruption by you. Now they got to get a stop. Okay, regardless, that bad. All right. And then in the second half, Flacco likes his new rookie tight end. If you're interested in that kind of thing, waiver wire pickup Fannin. I don't know how you say his name. But, yeah, I think Cleveland is going to be really, really bad this year. I fully chalk that up to the Bengals have some kind of mental block at the beginning of the year. I don't get it. Henderson did have a sack. You were wrong on that one. You did tell people to sprinkle Hendrickson 2 sacks. But, yeah.
It was a sprinkle because I wasn't fully confident. I knew he'd get 1, but 2. That's why I was a little sprinkle.
Couldn't take down the 47-year-old Flacco, I guess. All right, Alexander. You can take the next one, too.
Next one. I was right against the spread for you, but it hurt. It was a tough one to watch. Mm-hmm. It's Pittsburgh playing the Jets, and Pittsburgh was favored by 3 on the road. Final score ended up being 34-32. A freaking high score barn burner. Bet y'all didn't have that one penciled in. Like, holy crap. A matchup that we felt like was just going to be a dogfight. Like, low scoring, just kind of grinded out. Ended up being just high scoring. And I feel like both teams, great stuff to take away on the offensive side. But then defensive side, both teams are probably walking away like, we got to be better on defense. Like, around the league, most teams' defenses looked pretty good this week. Ours, for some reason, in this matchup on both sides just didn't. But I liked what I saw, both sides of the field. Aaron Rodgers actually looked the closest to the Aaron Rodgers we're used to seeing in, 2 years? Then on the other side, I mean, the Jets kind of let Fields just do him, and it worked. And then Brees Lightning might be back. He might be back.
Yeah, I mean, you were very high on the Jets, and I enjoyed watching that team with you today. My overall takeaway is that Fields and Garrett Wilson connection is real. Is a true connection. They fully trust each other. Fields is a point guard. Fields is confident. We saw him making throws, stepping in the pocket, delivering across the middle, throwing across his body. And this team, Alexander, this is a more like macro view. This team loves Justin Fields. There was a few questionable plays from Pittsburgh, whether it be a late hit or taking an extra step and hitting him on a read option, or the one he throws away on the sideline. Maybe it was late, maybe high. They're fighting for him. Even on the next plays, the receivers and tight ends blocking, hitting the guy that hit him. Like, that, to me, is as big of a win as it could be without winning the game, because this team believes in the quarterback and they're rallying around him figuratively and literally. You didn't really see that with Rodgers. You know, Rodgers made some comments after the game about the Jets that he liked to prove everybody in the organization wrong that thought he couldn't play. And on that note, for Rodgers, I wrote, he's old. When he tried to move a few times, it was bad. But he's so smart, and he still can throw the ball. And Arthur Smith, credit to him, had some good plays to score. Ultimately, the turnover ends up being what cost them towards the end, and you felt it as soon as it happened. I think if you're watching that game, it's like, this is how it ends. But then Fields is coming back. He has a chance, I thought, to run for the first down. Throws it out to Garrett Wilson, and Jalen Ramsey perfectly times as soon as he goes to catch it, just obliterates him and cuts the comeback a little bit short. But I was very impressed with the Jets' offense. I almost feel better about the Jets moving forward than the Steelers because, and maybe this is a bad take, the Steelers usually are like, they're winning those 20-13, 20-17, 17-10 games. They're not the team that's scoring 40 points. They're not the team that's like, so I think the Jets' defense obviously got to figure it out. But as far as offensively, I loved what I saw from the Jets. And yeah, man, your Brees Lightning take might really age well, but I'm still not in.
Oh, gosh, come on. The only thing I didn't like was you kind of talked about it after the game, the Rodgers comments. It's like, to me, make those comments before the game. Anybody can say what they want after a game, especially when you come out in the win. Like, if you're going to say stuff like that, say it before the game. Be like, yeah, I can't wait to play them. I'm going to get to show so many people in that organization that I'm still got it, that I ain't washed up like many of them believe. Like, say that before the game. Saying it after the game, like, cool. Like,
I don't think you want more Aaron Rodgers content. I think you're just saying that. I love that he's being like sassy and like, yeah, I can prove him wrong. I mean, he had one of the best days across the league from a quarterback position, especially number wise. So
yeah, 4 touchdowns, right?
Yeah. All right, Alexander. So that was that game. Steelers win, don't cover. Crazy 34-32. Next game I'll take, because this is one that I really wanted to pick, and they actually did cover, and that was the Arizona Cardinals facing the New Orleans Saints. And they win 20-13. Got a little hairy there at the end. I'll lead off with this because this team is going to be the death of me. You even said this when James Conner is still James Conner. He looks fresh. He looks healthy. It's week 1, but he looks like he's going to be that way. But as the game goes on, here's really the takeaway for me. And a lot of times a team is based, to me, their ceiling is based on their quarterback. And Kyler Murray, not making a short joke here, I don't know how high his ceiling truly is. I really don't. Like, it may just be shorter than I thought, because you have the highs. He has incredible athleticism. It looks like the play's done. There's one where the pocket is collapsing. They're blitzing from the outside. Steps up around, picks up the first down like it's nothing, apparently battling flu symptoms also. Who knows? It's not like Jordan's game where it's fake. He's actually sick. And he makes some good throws, has some good fakes, get the ball in Trey McBride's hand, hits Marr for a touchdown. But then there's plays where they're backed up inside their own 10. He steps up, goes to throw it. I don't know if he's not tall enough to throw it or what. he misses Marvin Harrison. It could have been a 95-yard touchdown, basically. I mean, if not, it's a huge play. Like, those are the plays where, look, they won. They come away with it. I thought their defense looked really good. Had a couple turnovers on plays that there were flags. They could have definitely shifted the game even more. I like their pieces. I like adding Josh Sweat, Davis Gaither. I like them just moving people around. You know, Gannon, Pew Pew, the offense is going to be good. Trey Benson had a huge run. I still believe all the positives about this team, but I'm so nervous because there's a third down where if they convert to win the game, this is the last thing I'll say. If they convert, they can get the next first down, run the clock out, and win the game. So Kyler doesn't want to just throw it away because he wants to keep the clock running. And he takes like a 12-yard sack. It's just like, dude, it's better than turning it over, but we got to have some kind of better concept of what's going on. I don't know. He is such a frustrating person to watch play football. But Cardinals do win and cover, so I'm heading the right direction, I guess.
Yeah, that game was, to be honest, I didn't really watch much of it.
No,
Like, I'd glance over, and then randomly I'd see the Saints somehow moving the ball, and I'm like, and then I keep looking at the score, and I'm like, they're just hanging around. Like, I did not see them just being able to just hang around and stay in it. So I guess my takeaway would be Cardinals, I just don't know if they have it. Or maybe the Saints just have that grit. I don't know. It was a weird game. Wasn't a great takeaway on anything really out of that game for me. But I mean, if you're, as a Cardinals fan, you walked away wanting it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm as close to a Cardinals fan as you can be without being a Cardinals fan at this point, but I feel okay about it. I'd give them a B- overall. Spencer Rattler he's not meant to play NFL quarterback, and the good news for the Saints is you're one game closer to getting a top pick next year. So that's my takeaway there. Brandon Cooks is still catching balls. Olave's healthy. And here's my biggest takeaway. Saints have the biggest uniform, or worst uniform there is. Yeah, I don't know what you're... Oh, he got tripped up. So just to set the tone,
don't trip him up. Just let him score at that point.
We're under a minute here, and yeah, they could have taken the lead. So Alexander, if you want to spoil this game for me, you can. I'm fine with that, as long as it's... Actually, I don't care. All right, moving on. I'll take this one as well, Alexander. One of my picks of the week where I told y'all, don't buy into the Panthers hype. Don't buy into the Bryce Young hype. Speaking of quarterbacks not having a tall ceiling, the Jags are kind of exciting. That was my first question. They come back after the delay. They said, hey, Eagles, Cowboys, delays make us better. We're going to put Travis Hunter in defense. Okay? He didn't have a ton of action there, but they got him involved. Okay? They tried to feed him the ball a little. Brian Thomas, electric as always. ETN, huge run. There was a play of the game that kept showing a replay. I feel like I saw that run 27 times a day. The only negative I'd say of football is seeing the same replay 7 million times. But hey, not going to complain more than that. Jags pass rush up front dominated. We have a lot of Panthers fans in chats together, and it was all about the offensive line being terrible. Listen, I'm not disagreeing with you, but like you can't go from everything's going to be great to now suddenly the line's awful. And I agree with you, but like I don't know. It seems like there's no accountability for anyone in that organization. Xavier Legette should not be your second receiver. He's just not good, truthfully. I mean, I like this. It's a 10-yard line. The Bills, they're just settling for a field goal, I suppose, lining it up. I really wish they would have ran it again up the middle, but whatever.
They should have just let him score.
Alexander, do you have... Yeah, I wonder if they... I mean, they still would have scored. He would have not tripped on purpose. Do you have any major takeaways from the Jags and Panthers? And I guess I want to ask you this question. Which team do you think this game was more about?
To me, this game seemed more about Carolina's just bad. Like, Bryce Young might not be him. Like, it seemed like towards the back end last year, he answered all that. After a game like this, I don't know if it's answered. Because there was times where he would throw a ball, and he was just leading his receiver just to get plowed as soon as he called it. Like, he was not looking out for his receiver's well-being. Like, if I'm a receiver on that team, I don't know if I want this dude throwing me the ball because I'm about to promise every time I'm going to catch this ball, I'm going to get destroyed. Because, I mean, I saw Hunter Renfrow just getting level almost every play, it seemed like. Like, it was bad. And then for the Panther fans saying the offensive line sucked, literally all I heard from about any Panther fan I talked to is, we have the best offensive line in football now. Like, that's a quick switch. Like, what happened? Like, you can't switch that quickly. It's just insane.
Yeah, I mean, anybody saying that was a little crazy. In fairness to Bryce, they did have some drops also. They had mistakes.
I dropped the ball too, thinking I'm going to get destroyed every time.
There was sometimes they were not. I mean, trust me, I watched this game more than you. Everyone on that team, except J.C. Horn, who had a great interception, everyone was making mistakes. Like, that's the thing. I would be more concerned than anything because it's not just one person. Like, I don't know. Bill's sending out the kick team to win by 1 point, and if that is the case, Alexander, As we get to it, my pick is dead either way. You covered. Congrats. All right. Any other Panthers Jags talks? I mean, I told y'all they were going to win. And, like, that was one of those where I was so confident. You good?
Yeah, kick's good.
All
Bills
right, Bills
win
win.
4-40.
That's how you record during an epic game because, you know, now we're already 30 minutes into this.
Derrick Henry fumble cost the Ravens a win.
I mean,
After a
that's the crazy
dominant
part.
night,
You're
by
going
the
to
way.
see his stats. Yeah, we'll get to that one in a little bit. All right, Alexander. You can intro this next one. NFC South Showdown, I think. Besides Sunday night, the game that just ended, this was the game of the day for me. This was my most enjoyable, most exciting game by far. I do have quite a few highlight points to hit on the notes, so I'm going to let you go first on here.
Yes, the next one on our schedule is Tampa Bay at Atlanta. Tampa Bay was favored by 2.5. Tampa last year got swept by Atlanta. Could Tampa Bay actually get a win this time? And I'm going to be honest with you. There were certain moments of that game where I felt like Atlanta should have been destroying Tampa Bay. But then all of a sudden it'd be like, what's Atlanta doing? Like, can Penix, like, not throw? Like, do they not trust him? Like, I feel like they're holding him back. Like, they got, like, a leash on him. And then ended up, like, they had a chance to tie the game, and the kicker missed it. Like, so they ended up losing to Tampa Bay 23-20. But wait, that's a cover by Tampa Bay as well, right? Dang. I thought for a moment when we were watching it, we were saying they weren't going to cover. Maybe we were saying that because if they made the field goal, it went at overtime. Things could have changed. But yeah, my takeaway from that was Baker at times didn't look good, but then he did. I don't know. It was weird. Like, he'd have a moment where it was like, oh, yeah. Then he had a moment where it wasn't. But maybe that's the Baker experience. I don't really know. I don't watch Tampa Bay games that closely. Atlanta, to me, the big takeaway was when Drake went out, it kind of felt like it just ruined any chance of the win for him. Penix just loves throwing the ball to Drake London.
Yeah. Here are my my notes on this. Penix looked very comfortable to begin the game. There was lots of like easy boundary throws to the sidelines. I felt like they weren't trying to let him loose, kind of like you said. We also have a note here. I'm not going to read the full thing. Sorry if I was on my phone. I was letting Jimmy know we're live. But it's who TF is Casey Washington. So I'm not sure why I kept writing that, but I guess he's okay. Falcons have to get better on their short-to-go situations. We saw it multiple times. There's a 4th and 1 they're stuffed, another 4th and 1 they convert barely. Ultimately, the game comes down to inches, yards, and theirs is just like shove it up the middle and hope for the best, and it doesn't work. Algier got stuffed one time and somehow made it, but they didn't seem to have really an idea what they wanted to do. But you kind of hit it. My biggest concern as we get in the second half of this game is there's always these yardage pylon controversies when Tampa Bay and Atlanta play. We have the play where Drake London's falling down, his back's going, and I thought he caught the ball, but then on the replay, it's like you can't see where the ball is. They said it was incomplete. I wouldn't swear that he caught it, but I wouldn't swear the other way either. But NFL review process, it's upheld. It can't be overturned. It seemed like every score there was something, and special teams matter so much, right? You see Koo, who they were saying on the broadcast, we used to call him the cold-blooded killer, the Koo-blooded killer. I don't know what the heck they were talking about, but they were basically just saying this dude is meant to be clutch. And their Falcons short yards plays are just awful. Again, like I can't emphasize that enough. I'd be okay if I was a Bucs fan walking away from this game. You have the phenom, my guy, my number one most shared player in fantasy football this year, an absolute stud, Emeka Egbuka, coming up with a clutch play. Baker stepped up when he needed to, steps up in the pocket, delivers a strike. I would be encouraged as a Tampa Bay fan, and the Falcons definitely have their number somewhat, but the biggest concern to me in everything I just said, is Drake London going to be healthy? Because if he's out for a while, that offense is going to stall out real quick. Now, you might have Mooney coming back, and maybe he could supplement that number one role for if London does have to miss. But London and Mooney both already be banged up and questionable. Things could get pretty ugly in Atlanta. And Bijan was incredible. We saw some highlight plays from him. But you got to have complimentary football if you don't have a dynamic quarterback. And Penix is meant to be a point guard, not a playmaker by himself. He's got to get the ball in other people's hands to make plays. Shouts out to the Tampa Bay for covering. My two best picks of the day, my only two correct ones, Carolina and Tampa Bay. I mean Jacksonville and Tampa Bay. All right, Alexander, maybe the biggest, this was the biggest blowout and the smallest spread. So it's kind of funny. And if you remember, Alexander, I told you, I wish I would pick this one of my three, because I told you, go back and watch the clip. I said, to be honest, I think the Colts absolutely blow them out. I don't know. Is Daniel Jones good or the Dolphins is bad? This seems like the only thing collectively everyone was right about. The Dolphins being bad, having a downfall, not being able to do what they're supposed to. I was more discouraged with the Dolphins than impressed with the Colts, to be honest with you, and maybe that's too harsh, but Daniel Jones looked mostly okay. I know you kept talking about Jonathan Taylor, so I'll throw it over to you on this one. I don't have a whole lot of notes on this game other than just Daniel Jones, question mark? That's what I have wrote down. I don't know.
To
Dolphins are
me, the
good.
biggest takeaway of this game is either we're both right, Miami's the worst team in this division, they're going to finish last, or I'm right, and the Colts are going to finish second in their division and actually contend for Houston with it. Because, like you said, it was so bad. I don't know if it was just Miami was just that bad or the Colts were actually that good. It was, I don't know. But Jonathan Taylor looks back like he looks fully ready to go. He was just running over people, doing what he wants. Daniel Jones looked really good. And I mean, I made the comment to you like either the Colts are like really good at trying to find a way to promote Anthony Richardson for trade later in the year, or they literally Anthony Richardson might actually be better than we thought he was because they made it seem like they didn't know what quarterback they were going to do. And then Daniel Jones goes out there and just plays great. So I don't know which one to take out of that it is. Yeah, Daniel Jones was the takeaway for me. He actually looked good. And if he can do that consistently, Colts going to be a scary team.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that's the case though, but I wonder what we could look at. I wonder what Mike McDaniel's odds are for first coach hired. He's got to be the strong favorite. I mean, who else would it be?
Oh, first coach fired? Yeah, it's got to
It's
be
got
him.
it's got to be him by a landslide, right? Like Carolina, they're not Cannon Canales this early.
Yeah, not this
Like
early.
Cleveland, I don't know what their expectations were. Like, yeah. So maybe if y'all want to make some money, bet on that. But Tyreek Hill getting traded, that's a storyline of the future. All right, enough of that. I'll man up and take the next one. Las Vegas headed to New England. You told me I was on the wrong side of it. I stuck with it anyways. I let my preseason hope of the Patriots get in the way. And I think I just wonder if maybe they're to see exactly how I phrased here. I wonder if they're closer to this is really bad writing. Are they closer to being 1 year away than they are being here this year? I guess my point is just like I think maybe next year. Now, is that an overreaction now how I felt about them this offseason? Yes. I think there was some gameplay stuff that could have flipped a little differently. But they got to trust Drake May more. They got to let him loose. They got to let him do what he wants to. This game was so stifled. Like, I do love Geno this year on the Raiders side. There were some good things from them. Brock Bowers, if he's really injured, I think he might be okay. But if he's really injured, that's concerning. Jacoby made some plays. But back to the Patriots side, you have Travion Henderson, who's a playmaker, and you have Drake May, who's a playmaker. You have to let those guys ball. It's kind of like they let the Raiders defense look better than they were. And that was my biggest concern with the game. The reason people were picking the Raiders to lose so much, and the reason I took the under on the Raiders, which looks like a terrible pick now, I think they only need 6 more wins, is simply because their defense is so bad. The Patriots scored, what was the final score in this one?
20-10.
10 points. You can't do that. This was as disappointed as I was in a single team today because I thought if the Patriots lost, it would be because their defense wasn't up to par and they lost 27-24. I would have lost every dollar if you told me they were only going to score 10 points if Drake May played the whole game. I don't know. That was very, very discouraging. I don't feel any differently about Drake May. I'm not actually saying they're done this year. But I have officially raised the yellow flag for this New England Patriots team, and I'm very concerned about them. And pretty impressed with the Raiders. They're going to be what a lot of people are starting to buy into, and they're going to be feisty and compete this year. I love the word feisty. All right, Alexander.
Yeah, my takeaway was the Raiders kind of felt like the team I thought they were. They're a feisty team. They were going to be able to go in there and win. New England, in a way, kind of felt like a letdown. The whole hype, everything coming into the season. But it's kind of like you touched on it, though. It kind of felt like they still had the training wheels on. Like the father wasn't ready to take the training wheels off, even though the kid looked like they showed they were ready for him to be off. And who knows? Maybe they're just not, and the hype just got bigger than it actually is. But the main key takeaway after this game is how hurt is Brock Bowers? Because that would be huge for the Raiders if he's actually hurt for a long period. So hopefully he's healthy for them to be able to compete this year. Because without him, I don't know. And then Genty, he didn't look that great. Didn't look that great.
Yeah, but again, I think the offense has to be going for him to work. It's not the other way around. Because I mean, to start the game, that's actually, I'll be honest, that's the only touchdown I did not see happen today. Was the very first Raiders touch. I was messing with the team, dude. It was chaos. I don't know what was happening. And maybe he doesn't need me to watch. I don't know. Yeah. I was just checking. Jimmy, I don't know why he's not in the lobby, but he just messaged me and said they said Bowers will be fun. So I don't know
Okay.
who he knows inside the Raiders clubhouse, but
It's good for the Raiders then.
bad take by Jimmy if he's not fine though. I want that on the record.
Yeah.
Did you know his friends call him James? All right. Sorry, that's too inside of Big City. Alexander, then we get to the 4:00 games, and I'll let you bat lead off with this one because it's one of your boys making his debut.
The next one, another weather delayed game. Who had 3 weather delay games week 1? Because I'll tell you what, I didn't. And if that was something to bet on, probably the over-under would probably just been 1. Like, it's just insane, 3. But the next one is Tennessee at Denver. Denver's favorite by 7.5. Tennessee going into the game, you just want to show a little bit, a little bit of promise, like so you could believe. You don't get blown out too bad. If you're Denver, you're expecting to throttle Tennessee, like just take it to them. And then the final score only ended up being 12-20. And if you're Tennessee, like you're walking away thinking, dude, our defense, we fought. It was a great game. Offensively, like that's just a tough spot for a rookie quarterback to be in. But he showed moments. And then there at the end, the last drive, like there was like 2 key drops on that drive that could have kept it going to where they maybe would have had a chance to go down and score. I don't know. There was still a lot of field left after that, but that's just 2 key drops. And it kind of, in a way, showed what Ward was kind of dealing with. Like when he would make a play, like sometimes his receivers would let him down. And then on the other side, I don't know what to think of. Like Denver it felt like it was a game that they should have easily have won, and it wasn't easy. It looked like a struggle. Like it almost kind of gave off Cincinnati vibes. Like they just weren't ready to go, weren't prepared. But then like late in the game, like I thought, I don't know the range of their kicker, but I thought maybe you kick the field goal if you don't think he can do it, just do like a little punt or something. Instead, they go for it on like 4th and 8, and it was wild. Like I was just like, what are we doing? Like what is Sean Payton doing? And then on the play they designed, Bo Nix threw to the wrong receiver. Sutton was wide open on the other side of the field. It had been a walk-in touchdown. That's what I'm saying. They just did not look prepared. Like it was a bad game if you're a Broncos fan. Like you really are walking away from this. Like we need to wake up. Like we can't play like this against the Chargers, against the Chiefs. Like we'll lose every time against them. Any big team, you're going to lose if you play like that. You got to wake up.
Yeah, which is very uncharacteristic for Sean Payton, and we know he'll let them have it. I have 2 takeaways and 2 thoughts on this game. My 2 takeaways are that Cam Ward is an NFL quarterback. Not just like, obviously he's an NFL quarterback, but he's a real NFL quarterback. I feel like the majority of this game, Alexander, was just the Titans inside of their own 25-yard line and Cam fighting his way out of the end zone to freaking work through and go through this and still compete. The second takeaway is the Broncos cannot expect to compete at the highest level if they're not willing to like be accountable, and they are. So my point is, if you're a Broncos fan, you're fine. Trust your coach, trust your team. They're getting chewed out tomorrow. They're not happy. They're glad they have a 1 in the win column. They are not satisfied with this game at all, I promise you. We did see Harvey get a few touches. That was nice. He ended up with 70-some yards probably. My 2 takeaways were this, Alexander. I don't understand a concept in the NFL, and you help me out. There was about 7 minutes left, okay? Broncos go up 8. They score the touchdown to put them up 8 points. Or to go up 7, sorry. So if they kick the extra point, they go up 8. If you go for 2 and get it, you go up 9, which makes it an extra possession, makes it a 2-possession game. With 7 minutes left in the game, why would you not go for 2? I don't understand it. I'm not in any way saying I'm smarter than Sean Payton. You have 2-point conversion plays. You have plays you can get from 2 yards out. I don't understand. Now, if there's obviously in the second quarter, third quarter, even, I think my personal take is like under 8 minutes in the fourth quarter, you got to go for it. Definitely under 5. We're 7 minutes left. And then you talked about the drops on the last possession. Imagine if the Titans end up scoring and end up being able to tie the game. As opposed to, it wouldn't have mattered because they would have had to get another stop, get the ball, and go score again. I don't get it. It's like you have more faith in your defense to get a stop on a 2-point conversion then you don't offense to get it, essentially. I really hate it. I'm not even going to say the second part because it's so irrelevant. Oh, no, I do need to. The second takeaway, the Broncos will turn you over. They are a turnover opportunistic team. They want to get the ball at all costs. They are hungry on defense. And that's going to be a thing. We saw with the Eagles a lot last year. Punching out, picking, tip, get it. I mean, it was very impressive to watch that defense kind of swarm everybody. So, yeah, sorry to go analytical on you. I hate it so much. Y'all let me know what you think. Am I crazy or what? All right, Alexander. A really, really weird game. NFC West, classic NFC West. You mentioned that pre-show. 49ers beat and covered the spread against the Seahawks 17-13. Alexander, Christian McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey to the fullest extent, and when something's going wrong, they get him the ball. My only major takeaway from this is Darnold has a clutch drive at the end to put them in position to be in a field goal to tie the game, and then guess what?
He fumbles his own offensive lineman.
Yes. So that was a very Darnold thing where it's like, dude, you can't, that just can't happen. You at least have to give yourself a chance to freaking throw it in the end zone and get picked off. I don't know. They lose by 4. Tough break for them. But again, we've kind of mentioned it with a couple teams so far. My biggest concern, because if you watch the first drive of that game, you had the thoughts of George Kittle, no wonder he's getting drafted so early this year. He's going to be unstoppable. He's hurt, ruled out for the game. I don't know when he's coming back. I'm not getting any reports, and Jimmy probably will text me in a minute, so he's fine. Like, he knows everything. But I'm worried about Brock Bowers. But Ricky Pearsall was a positive for me. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of takeaway from the Seahawks. Mine's one more on Brock Purdy tries to escape at every possible time. Like, hey, be a little smarter. You don't have the weapons you once did.
Yeah, his weapons, like Kittle got hurt, Jennings got hurt, Ayuk still hurt. Like, if you have McCaffrey, you're walking away from this thinking, besides Ricky, like, McCaffrey's going to get thrown to a lot if you want to go fantasy thinking. But walking away, like, both teams, it was a hard-fought, ugly NFC West game. And it felt like it always does when these two teams match up. Like, it's going to be hard-fought and ugly. And you just want to get the win. And then, like, with Seattle, it just, I don't know. Like, they showed promise at times, and then I almost, like, think them running the committee out of the backfield almost hurt them. Like, yes, it keeps them fresh, but I feel like they have the type of backs that, not just being fresh, like, if they got to get going. Once the wheels get going, keep feeding them. Like,
I mean,
the starting, stopping, like, I don't think they can get into a flow, like a proper flow.
Yeah, that's the Kenneth Walker conundrum, right? Like, he needs touches to get going, but more touches means he's more likely to get hurt. One quick thing, the 49ers possessed the ball so much more than Seattle this game. They had 2 field goal opportunities, 1 missed and 1 blocked. They got to clean that up. This team's not good enough to miss those opportunities. Like, special teams, this week 1 takeaway might just be special teams is more important than any. Like, it's the third phase of football, but it's one of the top 3 phases. Like, it matters. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that committee's going to be interesting to follow. I mean, Charbonnet looked good. It's just, I don't know. All right, Alexander, I'll let you have this next game because you told people not to sleep on Dan Campbell. Maybe we should have stayed asleep.
Yeah, the next game is Detroit against Green Bay. Green Bay was favored at 2.5, and it was ugly. The score, honestly, to me, doesn't make it seem as ugly as it was. I mean, the final score ended up being Detroit 13, Green Bay 27, and Green Bay came in just ready to fight, just to take it to them. Detroit just, I mean, you kept referencing it. Losing an offensive lineman is huge, and it looked huge. That offensive line just looked like they're out of sorts. They couldn't get the run game going. Granted, they got down early quick, so it's hard to get the run game going in those situations, but Goff just didn't have time. Like, he was basically running for his life every single play, and it just looked bad. Granted, though, if you're a Detroit fan, new OC, you would think the offensive line's going to start gelling better together and not miss, like, key, like, assignments when you're supposed to, like, one guy's supposed to switch type thing. Hopefully those type of stuff get cleaned up and you'll be able to get competing. I mean, just playing your division week 1, that's a tough loss because that could decide the division late in the season. And it didn't look pretty. But, I mean, anyone that knows anything about Dan Campbell, the Lions are going to get their butts ripped. And I'd hate to be at the practice this week found the line.
Yeah, there's I'm going to be very interested is how much of a favorite they open up next week because he does not get beat bad 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, it was 17-0 at one point, and it felt like the Packers were going to drop 50. The Packers want to throw deep. They want to take shots, and credit to I believe it was Romo on the broadcast saying before the game started, Dobbs has got to be a guy that steps up this game because the matchups he's going to get. He did, and Reed had a big play. Kraft they want to feature. This Packers team showed you, if you're a Packers fan, the moment you got the notification on your phone that you got Micah Parsons, you started getting excited. And you've got to be just completely floating now. Because not only did you whip the Detroit Lions, keep in mind, this is a Packers team who last year, their biggest struggle was how bad they were in division games. They came in and said, we have absolutely no fear. We believe in Jordan Love and Alexander. They're facing Aiden Hutchinson. They're facing these Detroit teams that all we kept saying is if they're healthy, maybe their defense is good enough. Their offensive line was a huge positive to me. I loved what I saw from the Packers. Parsons plays limited snaps, but still is effective. This team, they've got to really, truly feel like, hey, this is as solid of a start as we can have. But if you know Matt LaFleur, you know he's not sitting there saying, all right, guys, that's awesome. Let's go celebrate. He said, hey, that's one. We got to build on that. We got to get back to it. Because, again, wins don't matter. It's how you play. Great showing from them. I'm not, scared if I'm Detroit, but it definitely makes you feel like, oh, the talent level in this division has stepped up a notch. We're not going to be able to... You remember last year there was a few times where Goff had some bad turnovers and they end up still winning? I don't think that's the case anymore. I think that they're going to have to play much better ball in the NFC and in their division. So, yeah, I'm really, really excited to see what this Packers team does. And a healthy Jordan Love is a good Jordan Love. This team looks scary. Oh, and side note, I text you this. I like Gibbs better in 26 than 0. I don't know. His 0 wins in the number 0. Fun little stat for you there. I'll update you on that next week. Yeah, Parsons is a problem. All right, Alexander. I'll let you get this next one, too, because this was a sweaty one for you that you were on the right side of.
Yeah, this one was.
The final score of the Packers game was 27-13. You mentioned it should have been worse. Alexander, when I was trying to remember what the score of that game was, I couldn't remember Detroit scoring another time. So that just shows you how dominant it felt.
Yeah, the next one was one of my picks of the week game, and it was Houston versus the Rams. Rams were favorite, 2.5, and I get it had an NFC West opponent in it, and maybe that's why it just felt like it was an NFC West type freaking divisional matchup or what, but it was just a dogfight. If I'm a fan of both of these teams, I don't know how I feel. Felt like the offensive should have done more on both sides, but same time, both of these offenses are pretty good, so maybe you feel really good about your defense. It was just a dogfight. It wasn't the prettiest. I mean, if you're the Rams, quick takeaway is Puka gonna be able to stay healthy all year. I mean, the dude he got hurt constantly during that game. Kept having to come out, but he kept coming back in. So, I mean, that's, I guess, the good sign, but, I mean, he's just taking shots constantly. But then, if you're a Rams fan, what is the real issue with Stafford's back? Because to me, if you have a back problem, why is your coach having you do a quarterback sneak? That just felt wild to me. So now I'm just sitting here thinking, is his back really messed up? Were they just saying that so he could just, not practice fully and not get penalized or something? I don't know. Very weird.
I'm going to say he has a bad back, and sometimes it's worse than others. But I don't know.
He was just feeling really good that game, so he said, Coach, I'll do the quarterback sneak.
I'm going to say he wasn't feeling much during the game at all, to be honest.
But, yeah, the final score of that one ended up being Houston 9, Rams 14. So the Rams did cover. I did get that right. And then my anytime touchdown I gave you for that one was Kyren Williams. That one hit as well. So, I mean, 2 for 2 on that one as well for you. I mean, I'm feeling the anytime touchdowns right now.
Yeah, you had a great week. If you rode completely with him, you definitely were profitable. With me, it depends on exactly how much you win on the sides. I came out about even. So I'm a little down now because the Bills didn't cover. So anyways, we'll get to that. My takeaways from this. The Texans, I guess in my mind, not having a true running back, Chubb looked okay. He could have been named something different and I wouldn't have known it was Nick Chubb. But I really, for some reason, started to think maybe they're going to have a little more explosive plays. Maybe they'll have a little more high-powered offense passing. It's not. It's the same offense. They want to control possessions. They want to wear you down. Stroud does always look in control and command and calm. But do you know what calm and controlled looks like when you're not succeeding? It looks like you're, bored's not the right word. It looks like you were just kind of searching. And they just couldn't push the ball down the field. The Rams had very timely pass rush. Their guys, I have here Young, Verse, very, very, very talented. They're going to continue to dominate if they stay together. Up front, they can beat you at every position. Don't matter who you have, guard, tackle, center. Like, they're getting through. And it was timely. They knew when to dial it up. I'm a little worried about the Texans. I don't think, we talked about the Colts earlier, I don't think they're going to really challenge them for the division. So luckily for the Texans, I think they got a little more cushion than other teams as far as win total goes for the division. But overall, their defense is mean, like in a good way, in a violent way, but maybe a little too much. You mentioned Puka. Dude, there was a visual of his eye. It looks like his eye's coming out. There's blood just pouring down his face. He got hit in the head multiple. He's in for another play. They pull him out because the spotter saw he got his head hit, and it's like, and one was a penalty, so it's not like it was a completely illegal hit. I don't know, man. We remember the Trevor Lawrence play last year. I'm not going to go out and say like they're dirty, but they definitely are toeing the line. But that's the aggression they're playing with. And I think that's going to make them competitive in a lot of games. But they got to figure something out on offense. They got to figure something out at running back position. I'm pretty concerned with the Texans overall, just because their best case right now is like to be like the Steelers, where they are above 500, losing the wild card. That's not okay with C.J. Stroud. He does not want that. He's got healthy receivers besides Tank Dell. They got to be better. Huge highlight play in this. Higgins is on the sideline. Looks like he's going to be able to catch the ball, and basically the defender takes it out of his hand. And again, symbolism. We talked about it in the game earlier. The Texans were there about to make the play, and the Rams just took it from them. And that kind of feels like the way it was. The Rams just took it away from them. Stafford has a great pass down outside sideline for a touchdown. So he still got it there, but yeah, it's like these teams were just playing moments almost. There's just a lot of nothing happening. But it was an enjoyable rock fight, but it was a rock fight.
Yep, agreed.
All right, Alexander. So for a full little recap here, you did end up going 4-2 with your 6 picks so far, where I went 2-4, which is really bad. But the last one that I thought was over way before it was, you still end up being on the right side of, but the Bills come back and win. Alexander, the Bills looked like they were going to compete in a high-scoring affair, and then it became the Derrick Henry show. Lamar's running all around. Okay, now we're going to play man coverage. We're going to throw to Zay Flowers. And there's this brief moment in time where I get 3 text messages from 3 different people, and all of them just say, how do you stop them? You stop Henry, you stop Lamar, now you can't stop Zay. You got to pick your poison. But the only poison the Ravens have is the fact that they can never come through when it matters the most. The guy who was dominant throughout the whole game ends up being the biggest reason they lose. You think Derrick Henry's happy right now? He don't care how many yards, touchdowns, nothing he had. And I heard, it was on the Greenlight Pod, shout out Chris Long, #1 inspiration for football. He literally brought up the most incredible point with the Ravens. There has to be more highly accountability there. Mark Andrews drop, fumble here. It's always something or somebody. And it's not always Lamar. But at a certain point, if every single time, I know it's week 1, I know it's a crazy game. There's no world in which they should lose this game. It's 40-25 in the fourth quarter. Correct? I don't know what to make of this. Credit to the Bills. We can talk about them in a second. To me, this was disastrous for the Ravens. And if you're a Ravens fan, as amazing and fun and credible as it seems like to watch them, are you going to be able to overcome Mahomes, Allen, these other elite teams when it matters most? Because it doesn't seem like it. And I know that's crazy to say in week 1 when you just dropped 40 on a team that was in the AFC Championship. But like, what's the goal here? Is your defense good or not? I don't know. I'm kind of reeling, and this one's more fresh, so I haven't had time to sit and think about it. Obviously, Josh Allen's a freak. He does whatever he wants. He's the best player in football. He's my 1-1 in any world. But I'm very discouraged about how the Ravens ended up choking this game. And Josh Allen's incredible. That's my takeaways. Alexander.
Yeah, my takeaway is if you're Derrick Henry, you can't fumble the ball there. It's just that game, it was like you said, it should have been over. You can't have a lead like that and choke it in the fourth quarter. Granted, another takeaway though to me is I think it's is it Jair Alexander? Is he on the Ravens now? Like when Coleman is there, just let him score. It gives your quarterback a chance to win this game for y'all with a minute to play. Instead, you shoelace tackle the dude, and then they just milk the clock out and kick the field goal. Like you just got to let him score. Then you got to know, you got to have your head in the game and know what the situation is. Like once that happened and he went down, I was like, game's over. Like unless the Bills somehow flukily miss this field goal, like this game's over. They're just gonna knee it, kick the field goal, and that's literally what happened. But at the same time, a quick takeaway for the Bills to me is Ed Oliver is him. He made so many great plays in that game. He was the reason for the fumble. He blew up a Derrick Henry run. Like, he was all over, made his presence felt. Like, if you're a Bills fan, like, yes, you got 40 dropped on you, but you showed grit, and Ed Oliver might be him. And then if you're the Ravens, like, offensively, you were able to do whatever the heck you wanted. Your defense at times looked like they were able to contain Allen for a bit. And then it got to the fourth quarter, and it just all unraveled. And that's what you got to figure out. And Harbaugh is a great coach, so hopefully he can figure that out. But can he? I mean, you kind of referenced it. It's like something like this always happens every year in the playoffs for him. Luckily, this isn't the playoffs, but this was a game that you shouldn't have lost, because when it comes down to seed for the playoffs, this game could be the tiebreaker that decides from you being the 1 seed or the 2 seed. And
Yeah,
it was a game that you should already had in the bag. It shouldn't even came down for them to even have a chance to win it.
right. It's not like it was back and forth the whole time, and then they blew this. And credit to the Bills for taking advantage. But Alexander, week 1 last year, Isaiah Likely's this far out of bounds from them tying the game. Like, it's just always something so small. I do want to backtrack just a little though. I equally want to say I love, treasure, and value getting to watch Lamar Jackson and this Ravens offense throughout the regular season. But we are going to view and think about this team way differently than other teams, because the Ravens have one goal. It's not for Lamar to be the MVP. It's not for them to make it to the AFC Championship. It's not even for them to be in the Super Bowl. It is to win the Super Bowl with what they believe is the most talented roster in the NFL. So when that is the goal of your team, we have to evaluate you a little differently. And when you have a huge lead, yes, you showed you could have that huge lead, but ultimately the biggest takeaway, unfortunately, and I think it's unfair. I'm being very unfair right now, because they did so many amazing things on offense. Even defense, they had a couple big plays. Kyle Hamilton, some big plays as well. I mean, they tried to shoot themselves in the foot earlier, for being honest. They have a penalty that gives the Bills a chance for a 2-point conversion, where I thought that was going to end up causing the game to be over, or cause the Bills to be able to take the lead. Look, man, I want to say this, and I'm being as genuine as I can. I love watching Lamar Jackson play football. I love watching this Ravens team. That's the most dynamic duo we may ever see from the quarterback and running back position, especially in regards to running the football, ever. But it always is going to come down to, are they going to win in the playoffs? The problem for them is they're so good, nobody's going to care that they have 12, 13, 14 wins. They're not. It's just a fact. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to try to be a little more gracious in the moment, but when they blow these games, it's really hard to, especially, this is week 1 against the Bills. The Bills look so successful. If you can't beat them here, yeah, that was a tough loss. But, Alexander, as we're coming to the final stages of this, thank you all for listening and joining. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. I am so happy football is back. Obviously, we won't have Monday on this recap, but this will drop. You should be listening this Monday morning. If not, this was recorded before Monday night, obviously. So, only one game left on the docket. We'll be back for week 2 preview. We'll overreact even more, as you will as well. Alexander, final thoughts as I give you the last minute for anything you want to say about anything that happened in week 1.
Final thoughts? I didn't steer you wrong again. Ravens, they got it. They came through. They covered the spread. They didn't win. They covered the spread. But I also gave you an anytime touchdown in this one, and it was Derrick Henry. Yes, it was probably the easiest one, the one that hardly isn't going to make you any money. But if you parlayed it with the other ones I gave you, I promise you made some money. And I'm feeling the anytime touchdowns. And I gave y'all some for Monday night. I gave you, I'm pretty sure, Jefferson. And then I said, if you're feeling frisky, throw a Keenan Allen, Adam Thielen. This is basically the same type of player. Dude's coming back to a team that he used to play for, but it's a little bit different. It's a different quarterback. It ain't who he's coming back was used to being there before he left. We saw what Adam Thielen could do with Bryce Young. You saw what he looked like out there today. Bryce Young looked like he missed Adam Thielen. You're telling me J.J. McCarthy isn't going to love having Adam Thielen there? He ain't going to give him a little touchdown? Dude, trust me. Bet the Jefferson. Feeling frisky. Bet the Adam Thielen.
All right. That was definitely more than a minute. I got to be more strict on this. Yeah, appreciate it. Alexander definitely kicked my tail with picks this week, but trust me, stick with me. The past 2 years, through 3 weeks, I get back to 500, and then I've been positive since then. So
and with the picks, the ones that we're personally picking, like that we're getting to pick out of the slate, are our weekly picks, which was our 3, which we both went 2-1 on. The primetime picks, like we made it to where we're required to pick all the primetime games. So those, we might not like the line, but we're having to pick one way or the other. So those you got to lean with us on. But we're going to still do our best on those for you.
Yeah, but Alexander, I I have to call you out on something in the final remark here. It's insane that you're sitting here and your takeaway is they shouldn't have let him. He should have just let him in the end zone, bro. Like you were risking not covering there. That's crazy.
Let him score. I trust Lamar to go down the field and win. If I'm a Ravens fan, I'm
I know what you're
pissed that
saying
you
from a
didn't let him
football
score.
standpoint, and you've been too busy playing Madden. But like, you can't let a competitor just let him walk past you. And even if he did it from a smart standpoint, you'd be so mad if that's how you lost the cover. Anyways, all right, Pig City, we appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for everything. This is just the start. See ya.
We out.